Hey everybody, it's Dr. Kevin Usry coming to you. And this is All About Health and Wellness. We're sponsored by All American Wellness, and we're brought to you today by Podcast Junkies. If you want to get your message across to the masses, then I suggest you call Ben Castro or Christian Perello and tell them about the message that you're trying to get across. They will do their best to make sure that your message is clearly stated and the masses will appreciate what you have to say. So today what we're going to talk about, I'm going to briefly touch on some different kinds of injuries people end up suffering when they're in automobile accidents. You know, the one area of the spine that isn't protected at all when you're involved in an automobile trauma is the neck. The three-point safety harness is geared to keep your shoulders back, your mid-back, and your low back, and your pelvis strapped into the seat, but the cervical spine or the neck goes rocketing forward or backwards or goes side to side or maybe a combination of all of those. So there usually is a significant injury that may not necessarily be appreciated initially, but starts to develop over time. And I just want to tell you, if you've been involved in an automobile trauma, make sure you get to All American Wellness. You can reach us at 561-863-8779. We will do a complete evaluation of your body as soon as you come in. We will take the diagnostic images that are so important in us using detective work to determine if you've had ligamental damage, muscle damage, joint damage in the spine. All of these things can be researched and examined in under an hour. So I would invite you to come into All American Wellness and see us there. You won't be sorry you made that decision. Mechanical injuries that affect the spine can get worse and worse over time. And before you know it, you're suffering with headaches or neck pain, arm pain, low back pain, leg pain, and the 2 weeks have been up and you didn't go and get yourself checked, and as a result, your auto insurance isn't responsible to take care of you. And now what are you going to do? You're going to have to rely on either taking money out of your pocket, or if you're lucky enough to have health insurance, finding a doctor that will take your health insurance. So word to the wise, if you get into a car accident, the first thing you want to do, well, certainly use some ice to keep the inflammation at bay as best as you can, and give All American Wellness a call. Ligamental injuries that are suffered from automobile trauma are very easy for me to find and show you where your injuries have occurred and what you can do about them so that they don't get worse. And at that point in time, once we see that you have damage and you weren't at fault, we'll make sure you get to the right personal injury attorney. We work with a number of great professionals such as Lytle and Ryder, Gordon and Partners, the Drucker Law Firm, just to name the top three that we like to work with. And I would advise you just give us a call and we'll help you in every aspect of those injuries. Now we're going to move off topic for just a moment. I'd like to talk to you mothers about when it's time to bring your children in to see the chiropractor. Whether you know it or not, you want to have that child taken care of by being positioned properly in the womb, and coming to see the chiropractor when the baby is still in the womb is probably going to be necessary for you mothers to be. There's a lot of discomfort that occurs, of course, as your baby is developing inside your body. And a lot of room has to be made for the baby as the baby gets bigger. There are a number of complaints that we see in the office by expectant mothers, problems with digestion, problems with headaches, problems with sciatica. And those are things that are certainly easily treated in a chiropractic office. Especially at All American Wellness, we do instrument adjusting, so it's very gentle and helps the mom not have to rely on medication to deal with the issues of pain and discomfort that are so common when you're about to have a baby. When do we bring the baby in? Well, we've seen babies as early as 2 days old. If you really think about it, when you have the child by a normal birth, and as the baby comes through the birth canal, the doctor has to grab the head and get the body positioned properly. And the only thing that the doctor can do is use the head as a pry to turn the body so it's easy to come out of the birth canal. This puts a lot of stress and strain on the neck, and that can be addressed almost immediately when you get home from the hospital. Bring your baby in. Again, as I say, we use instrument adjusting. It's very, very gentle, but it can help your baby's nervous system start off on the right track without having to have irritations and problems that, of course, young babies can't explain to the mom. All they can do is cry, or they can be grumpy, or not have easy time sleeping, or start developing infections in the ears. So it's very important that you get your baby checked right away. And since you're doing that, keep them healthy as they can be by having regular visits with the chiropractor to make sure that their spine is properly aligned and functioning normally. This way you won't have issues that many patients have that aren't seeing the chiropractor. I should say many people have when they don't see the chiropractor. These simple functional problems that can happen every day and lead to many issues that moms have to deal with their children. Earaches, sinus issues, allergies, digestive issues, eliminative issues. A number of these conditions come into our office, and we're able to address them very quickly and help that child feel a lot better, sleep through the night, be able to digest their food properly. We can really be a great assistance to moms that are dealing for the first time and caring for someone that's young. At any rate, I do recommend that you bring your child into the chiropractic office just as quickly as you can. And I do want to emphasize it's safe, it's gentle, and very effective. And we'll be looking forward to seeing you here at All American Wellness, 561-863-8779. You can come in for a free 15-minute evaluation anytime you care to. Well, let's go ahead and move on to a different subject that I wanted to discuss with you all: allergies and sensitivities. We see on the television, you can't help but see these drug commercials on the television. Every time there's a commercial, it's at least every commercial or every other commercial, and many of them talk about things such as migraines. I've been doing this for 39 years in the way of doctoring people, and migraines are a common thing that we see, and almost 90% of migraines are related to hormonal imbalances and allergies that result from foods people are typically eating and triggering those migraine symptoms. So I'd invite you to come into our office. We'll do a free 15-minute evaluation. The first thing we're going to look at is your hormonal balance. The second thing we'll look at will be your issues with allergies and what foods may be triggering these allergy symptoms to create either sleepiness, brain fog, or migraines. Many times allergies can also create a lot of emotional issues such as anxiety and depression. It's not something you think of right away. Oh, gee, I'm having depression. I wonder if it's something I'm eating. Or, oh, I'm having anxiety. I wonder if it's something I'm eating. Sometimes it's something that you're eating. Sometimes it's things you're not doing, like taking proper nutrition to make sure that the body is functioning at peak efficiency and your physiology is normal. And that's what it's like when you go to a chiropractor. We're looking at your physiology, how your body functions. When you go to the medical doctor's specialties are disease and pathology. So hopefully you don't have a medical doctor finding anything wrong with you, as frustrating as that may be in regards to your questions or your issues not being addressed, consider yourself lucky. The medical physician is very good at finding disease and pathology. And when they can't find it, it's kind of indirectly telling you, well, you don't have disease and you don't have pathology. You may have a functional problem. So it's kind of been narrowed down even before you get into the chiropractic office. But when you come into All American Wellness, we immediately start looking at different issues that may be affecting your physiology. What's your diet like? What's your digestion like? What are your moods like? How are you sleeping? Are you having problems getting to sleep? Are you waking up often throughout the night? Are you having energy problems? Are you having mood issues where anxiety and depression can have an impacting effect on your everyday activities? This is something we address at All American Wellness. So by all means, take advantage of that free 15-minute evaluation. Again, understand we're not looking for disease and pathology. If we happen to find it, we're sending you back to the medical doctor or sending you to the medical doctor so that they can handle those issues. If you have functional problems, well, you're automatically in the right place. At All American Wellness, we're looking at your biomechanics, certainly how your spine is functioning, because problems within the spine can cause many problems with your physiology and how your body functions. If we don't see these mechanical problems, which frankly is rare, many people don't take care of their spine the way they should. And this reminds me about how things were in the 60s when I was growing up as a kid. All of my relatives, from my parents to my aunts to my grandparents, they all wore false teeth. They had dentures. And the reason for that is they didn't go to the dentist unless they absolutely had to in pain. And many of those people, by the time they were in their 40s, had to have all their teeth taken out and had to wear false teeth from then on. That's called the false tooth generation. And they learned some very hard lessons that they made sure their children didn't have to go through. So this is why you end up going to the dentist once every 6 months. And this is why many people don't have to have that terrible experience of having a toothache. It takes about 9 months from the beginning of a cavity taking place in a tooth to the point where it's causing you extreme pain. This is why dentists want to see you every 6 months. So they find the cavity, you don't find the cavity causing you a problem. And now people are keeping their teeth longer and longer because they understand maintenance care. And that's exactly how it is in a chiropractic office. You have one spine, that's all you get. You have one set of discs. These are these cartilage pads found in between each of the 33 bones in the spine that we call vertebrae. When the alignment is bad in your spine, just like having problems with the alignment in the front end of your car, your tires wear out a lot sooner than they should and they wear out unevenly. The only difference in that metaphor is once your discs wear out, the only way to replace them is with surgery. And you're talking a lot of in-depth surgery to do that. And many times those procedures don't often come out as you're expecting, without any issues, without any complications, without any problems that you'll have to deal with the rest of your life. Don't be like that. Don't have to find out until it's too late that you should have really seen the chiropractor to make sure the alignment of your spine was secured. We offer that free 15-minute evaluation, so it's not as if you have to spend money to come out to the office and find out exactly how you're functioning, whether you need help or whether everything's looking good. Inevitably, we find a lot of other problems that patients weren't necessarily complaining of that brought them into the office, but maybe had some things that they didn't know a chiropractor could treat. And we do that. So educate yourself, be proactive in taking care of your health. Come to All American Wellness Center and say, I want my free 15-minute functional evaluation. Can you do that for me, Dr. Usry? And we'll most likely be able to handle you that day and take care of your needs just as soon as you come into the office. I can't call you. You have to call me. We'll look forward to seeing you soon.
Dr. Usry, I actually had a question for you.
Oh, please.
So regarding, you were speaking about children coming to the chiropractic office. One of my common concerns that I've heard of is, does it do anything with the growth of your child going to a chiropractor early?
Growth in terms of growing pains?
Yeah, growing pains, just in the terms of development. There's nothing that the chiropractic would do to stunt those growths or going to the chiropractor.
Oh, no, no,
That
not
was
at
my
all.
question. Because I've heard a lot of common people, they don't want to take their children to chiropractic because they're worried that it might stunt their growth.
Well, that is a myth. That's not true. There is no scientific evidence to agree with those common misconceptions that going to a chiropractor will stunt the child's growth. Not at all. As a matter of fact, it will improve the function of the child and help that child's physiology continue to grow in a normal way and continue to function in a normal way. And we see a number of issues, back to the allergies, with children who are suffering with ear infections and with sinus problems and with severe allergies where they have to watch almost everything that the child is eating. It's very, very common nowadays. And that has a lot to do with gut health, how the small intestines, the stomach, and large intestines are functioning, has a lot to do with the spine, believe it or not. But those nerves coming out of the spine are the way the brain is connected to the stomach, to the small intestine, and large intestine. And over a period of time, as this function becomes less and less efficient, children start developing, usually as their first signs and symptoms, ear infections and sinus problems. And some of those issues, if left untreated, can become quite severe, where it's very common now in schools, especially elementary schools, where you see teachers have epinephrine or adrenaline pens to work on children who have severe allergies. This happens when the physiology in the body is no longer normal and it is dysfunctional. This is what chiropractic treats, dysfunction in the body. If your child is having this kind of issue, we really recommend wholeheartedly that you come out and get your free 15-minute evaluation for your child. You know, children between the ages of 10 and 24 are in a crisis, and it is affecting an entire generation of children and young adults. As a matter of fact, the CDC came out with some startling statistics the other day. I was reading an article where the second most common issue that affects children between 10 and 24 are homicide and suicide. Now, that is a terrible statistic. A lot of children are committing suicide, and it is probably the worst thing that could ever happen to a parent. And many times the parents don't know what to do. They put their children on medications when they're having issues with anxiety, obsessive compulsive disorders, ADD, ADHD, or depression. And many of these medications can have side effects where they actually create more of a problem with the mental health than the initial treatment or diagnosis was intended to have that treatment. I urge you, if you have a child who is having issues with emotions, bring them into All American Wellness for a free 15-minute evaluation. They may not have mental health disease. They may have a functional biochemical disorder. Some of it may be rooted in allergy. Some of it may be rooted in something known as dysbiosis, which is abnormal microbial growth, either in the stomach, the small intestine, or large intestine. And the evidence scientifically that links gut health and brain health is absolutely been proven scientifically. There is an intimate relationship between your functional health in your gut and your brain function. Well, I appreciate you joining me today. We kind of went all over the board a little bit, from auto accidents to allergies and sensitivities to mental health issues that may affect adults and young children. So I want to thank you very much for joining me today. This has been an enjoyable time for me to spend with you talking all about health and wellness. And this is Dr. Kevin Usry from All American Wellness. And I thank you for joining me today. Look for us on YouTube, on Spotify, and on Apple. We're there once a week. So all you have to do is search for us and you'll find all of those questions answered when it comes to all about health and wellness. Thank you once again, and thank you, podcast junkies, for helping me bring my message across to the masses. I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye-bye now.